Hey everyone, in today's video I'm going to show you how to read Lap Harp music. These are Lap Harp music sheets. These particular ones are from Music Maker. When you buy a Music Maker Lap Harp, you'll get a packet of 12 songs. So there'll be a song on either side of the sheet, and you just flip them over when you want to play a different song. Now, these music sheets make it very easy to make music on your Music Maker right from the get-go, because all you're going to be doing is connecting the dots of all the notes. So you start from left to right, and you start first note, second note, third note. It's like a connect the dot drawing or cartoon you might see kids do, where when they go in order of connecting the dots with their pen, at the end they'll have a finished picture. In this particular case, when you get to the end, you will have a finished musical piece. Now, when you slip this music sheet underneath the strings of your lap harp, where the notes are, they'll fall just underneath the string that you need to play in order to hear the melody. So let's just give this a quick try here. I think you all recognize that as Rockabye Baby. Now I want to point out something to you. You may have noticed that I didn't just hit the dots in just any random pattern. I didn't go dot, 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 dot. That wouldn't have been the music that we recognize as Rockabye Baby. We have a certain timing that we have to play the notes in. So I want to point out that you might see different types of notes drawn on the sheet. You'll see like a solid dot with a stem on it. These are called quarter notes. So they have a time length of 1, 1, 1. And then you'll see one that has an open circle. That's actually double the length. So it would go 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. Then the next one is another quarter note 1. So it'd be 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1. This particular piece is actually in 3/4 times, so it goes 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Rock-a-bye baby on the treetop. In this particular case, you have an open circle with a dot on it, which means it has 1.5 times its original length. So instead of being worth 2 beats, it's now worth 3 beats. Okay? So I know it might sound a little bit complicated, but when you start to play songs that you're very familiar with, you'll key into that. It'll start to click. So in this next example, this is a piece from Bach. Not only do we have the familiar quarter notes like we saw in the last piece, and not only do we have half notes like we've seen in the last piece, we also have now eighth notes. These are faster notes. So if a quarter note has one, like let's say a 1 second count, an eighth note has half that. So this would be like 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, 3. So like bump, 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 bump. So a little bit more involved in the last piece, but let's just slip this in here and let's check out how this sounds. Luckily, the songs that you get with the Music Maker Lap Harp when you buy it, they're 12 very familiar songs or melodies. So even if it takes you a little bit of time to understand the note value, just hearing it, playing it, sometimes you'll say, oh, I recognize that piece, and then play it as you remember it. Now in this next example, these are Music Maker sheets as well, but this is songs from the Beatles. So here are a couple of the songs you get. You get All My Loving and I Love Her, and you get about 10 other songs as well. But you're going to notice something on these particular songs, because they are a lot more modern and a lot more involved. They actually section off different parts of the song. So the verses would be indicated in this box. So you'd start from left to right, and then when you get to the chorus, you start from left to right, and then you go back to the verse again. Now this is pretty straightforward here, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. But in the other song on the other side, it's a little bit more involved. So what they do is they make a section and they'll call that A. They'll make another section and they'll call that B. And then they have this thing which is known as a legend that tells you this is what the full length of the song is. You do an A section. When you get to the end of the A section, you go back to the beginning and you play an A section again. Then you go to the B section. You start here. When you get to the end of the B section, it tells you to go back to the A. So then you play A again. So we're going to put this in here and hear how this sounds. So remember, we're going to go A section, B section, A section. Here we go. A section again. Now we go to B section. Now we go back to A. And here's just another example, Yellow Submarine. We all know Yellow Submarine by the Beatles. They do the same thing where they have the verses, they call that the A section, and then the chorus, they call that the B section. But because you repeat the verses a lot, it would go A, B. So A, just here, from left to right, left to right, left to right, left to right, and then you move on to the B. So far I've covered quite a bit, how to play a basic song, connecting the dots, note values, different sections. Now I want to show you a final thing here, and this is something that it's going to take you a little while to get into this. This is playing chords. And so in this particular case, this is another Beatles song. It's called In My Life. And some sections, they want you to play individual notes. In the other sections, you get options to play chords. So for instance, the first two notes would be a single note. And then the third note, you could either play the third note on its own or play the third note and this note way down here at the same time. And these notes are connected by these slash lines. Okay, and then the next one, slash line. So you can play a chord there, and then you get over to here, a couple single notes and chords. Now I'm going to go really slow and kind of show you how that would work. So we'll slide that in here. And what I find, because we're playing chords, we're having to hit two notes at the same time. I don't usually play those songs with a pick because it's kind of like, well, you'd have to have two picks, like one in each hand, in order to do it. So I just play with my fingers in this particular case. So we'll play the first two notes. Then we'll play the, actually let's ignore the chords right now and let's just play the melody just by hitting the single notes. So there'll be all the top notes. So that's your A section. Now we're going to try to play the chords at the same time. Now a chord, you strike two notes at the same time. So let's just take a look at this third note here. Put one finger here, and I usually use my thumb down here. So these are two notes at the same time. And down here. So let's play the melody. You see that? Takes a little bit of practice, a little getting used to. What I suggest is this is more of an advanced type of playing style. If you haven't got to this point, you can simply enjoy playing the top note, which is the main melody, and just ignore these chord notes down here until you get more comfortable with the melody, more familiar, then you can start adding the chords. So I hope you've enjoyed my tutorial on how to follow along Lap Harp music sheets. When you get a music maker, like I said, you get 12 songs. You can get up and playing right away. Just start with the basic songs. Don't go too fast. Just try to follow along. As long as you've got the note lined up properly underneath the strings, and just start playing. If you don't know the song by the name, just start playing. You might actually recognize it. And anyway, I'll just leave you this little song here, probably one that you will recognize. And this is included in the original Music Maker music sheet pack when you buy your Music Maker Lap Harp.